Hey everyone, so I am not at my house. I am actually in Culver, Indiana, visiting some family here, and I've been on a little bit of a travel, just kind of off schedule for the past few days. Came here with my entire family, my parents and my brother, my nephews, and then got to see some cousins, got to see my grandparents, aunts and uncles. But anyways, so I wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about traveling and your schedule, your routine, working out, those types of things, and kind of some of my tips, because a lot of times my clients have questions if you're going on a vacation and you're taking time off from training and from tracking your macros, if you track macros, or if you're just wanting to relax, that's a totally different thing where, sometimes I just take an entire week and I'm just like, I'm not training, I'm not even gonna think about working out, I just need a break. And I recommend that if you're a serious trainee that you do that from time to time, not only as a mental refresher, but also to allow you to kind of recalibrate what's most important in your life and not get so tunnel visioned where you lose sight of okay, you can take a week off and it's okay. You're not going to lose all your progress. You're not going to gain 20 pounds unless you are eating donuts every second of every day, which I would not recommend. But being moderate about things and taking time to relax, that's a different thing. But if you go out of town, for instance, this trip that I went on has been 3 days, and I didn't plan this to take off any training, didn't plan this to, just totally take a break or anything. So kind of how did I approach it, and what are some of my top tips? So first of all, realizing that you don't have to be perfect. So my workouts have been a little bit shorter. However, I've still planned it out. I've still gotten to the gym. So what I did before I came here is Googled gyms in the area. There was a gym about 20 minutes away. So I went there twice, did an upper day, did a lower day, and made it a little bit shorter, but still got those training sessions in. One day I went super early in the morning. One day I went midday when people were kind of all over the place, my family. So I didn't miss any family time. I strategized my day, making sure that I worked out at a time when it wasn't going to interrupt any sort of family time. So that's number one, is making sure that you recognize it doesn't have to be perfect, just make a plan. So Google gyms before you go somewhere if you're on a business trip or a 2 or 3 day trip. Secondly, I brought a lot of food from home. So we stayed in an Airbnb type place, and there's a kitchen. So I brought English muffins, I brought some fruit, I brought apples, what else did I bring? Yogurt. And then I went to the store, I bought some fresh food. So I brought some vegetables, avocados, I brought rice cakes, I brought bread, I brought kind of the essentials. I bought eggs so I could make eggs in the morning. So, your nutrition doesn't have to be 0% or 100% either. It can be in the middle. Now, right now in my kind of phase of where I'm at, I don't have to be on point. I don't have to be tracking to the gram at all because I'm not in a deficit. So I'm super flexible with my calories. I generally try to just hit a calorie range. Now I do track to stay more accountable, so that way I make sure I'm hitting a certain number of calories. And that's my nephew in the background. If I don't track, I generally tend to undereat, so I just generally try to estimate. I don't weigh everything out to the gram necessarily, but just estimate to make sure I'm getting enough food. So I recommend go to a grocery store, get things that you normally eat, stick to a relatively consistent schedule with your eating. But if you go out to eat a couple of times, it's totally fine too. You can estimate, or you can just eat healthfully. You don't have to blow it. It doesn't have to be 0% or 100%. It can be somewhere in the middle. If you want a donut, go get a donut. Just don't eat dessert later that night, right? So, or have a donut instead of having your bread, whatever it may be. So that's kind of a way to think about it. And balance it out, right? It doesn't have to be anything extreme. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. And I think a lot of times in the fitness industry, we have this like, there's a lot of extremes. And so people think I'm either going to be perfect or I'm going to be eating donuts for every meal. And it doesn't have to be that way. It can be somewhere in the middle. Additionally, on vacation or on a trip, prioritizing family time and making sure you're not being like crazy and like, I'm gonna go to the gym while everyone's, you know, having dinner. Like, no, schedule it, be accountable. If you plan ahead, that saves a lot of stress. So just plan, just schedule out like your day and make sure that you're being mindful of the time you have with family or the time you have like a meeting or whatever it may be if you're traveling for work. So these are just a couple of tips that I have for traveling, being active. You know, if you eat a few more 100 calories, it's gonna balance out if you are active. And you know, if you end up eating a little bit more on vacation, literally it's gonna even out in a week when you get back. So it's nothing to like freak out about. Now, if you are in a strict deficit or in a contest prep, then just be diligent about it. Bring your food scale. You know, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You can travel. I mean, gosh, in my preps, in my peak week, I actually was in Tampa, Florida during my last peak week, traveling and staying in a hotel. And it was the best peak week I've ever had. I just made it work. So you can make it work if it's a priority, and you can make a strategy. So that's what I would recommend. Make sure you're strategizing. So I've had a wonderful time here. It's been a nice break from reality and from kind of the day-to-day. I still did work here. I still brought my computer and everything, but it's just been a nice trip. And it's been really relaxing. So hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll be back to some of my normal videos soon. If you have any topics you want to hear about, leave them below, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.